Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So another draw preview and prediction video, but today is for a big one. Roland Garros 2023 men's draw preview and prediction, and we're going to go through it as always. Every single match, give you guys our predicted winner, and then ultimately the winner of the competition, the champion of Roland Garros. This year, we know it's not going to be Rafa Nadal. He is not playing because of injury. We're going to get into it in depth. Before we do, though, remember to that like button. Do subscribe if you are new, and do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Also, shout out and massive big up to our members on YouTube. You guys are legends. Okay, let's get into this. So, first of all, before we get into the actual draw, I want to point out a few things. So, number one, players that are not playing. So, notable players who are missing from the ATP side. Nadal is a big one, of course. We know he's not going to be playing because of injury, and it looks like he's going to be back later this year and looking for 2024 to be his last year. Andy Murray pulled out, looking to focus on the grass court season, and there's a few other players as well, but not as high profile, so we won't go into them as much. But look, I mean, this is going to be a really, really good tournament, I think, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I can't wait to see who comes out on top. It's very open. I do think early doors Alcaraz is up there, but Djokovic is definitely the favorite for me. But we will go through this, and I'll pick my I'll pick my winners. Alcaraz and Djokovic, by the way, in the same half of the draw, so that's a potential semi-final, which we'll get to in a second. And before we get into it, actually, I want to go into the projected quarterfinals. And the reason why is I think it's important to just give you guys the potential quarterfinals if every seed was to go through and progress as they should do. So you might be thinking, well, okay, that's great, but that doesn't always happen. You're right, but this is to give you guys a feel at least of what it would be like, because I do think it's important to have a look, and also interesting as well to have a look at what the projected quarterfinals are and then what actual quarterfinals we get, because more likely than not, it never matches up. So Alcaraz Tsitsipas is the first one. Djokovic versus Rublev, Rune versus Rude, Sinner versus Medvedev. So those are the four quarterfinals if the relevant seeds go through as they should. For the women's side, Swiatek versus Goff, Rybakina versus Jabeur, Sakari versus Pegula, Garcia versus Sabalenka. If you want to know and have me go through the WTA side, I'll be doing a separate video on that. Okay, let's get into this then. So Carlos Alcaraz has a bye in the first round, or actually is, playing a qualifier. Look, he should get through whoever the qualifier is, in my opinion. O'Connell and Taro Daniel is a really good first round. It's a tough one to call because O'Connell had a good victory against Alexander Zverev in Munich. Taro Daniel's beaten some good players in the past, Andy Murray being one. It's a 50-50. I'll go Taro Daniel, though. Arnaldi and Galan. I'll go Arnaldi. Nakashima Shapovalov. I mean, this is a really, really tough first round for Shapovalov. The unseeded Nakashima, who won the Next Gen finals last year, he pushed Kyrgios to 5 sets at Wimbledon. He's not, in my opinion, a particularly competent clay quarter, though, in all honesty. Shapo should come through there, but Nakashima could be too solid. I'm going to go with Shapovalov, but with not much confidence. Musetti versus Mikael Ymer, who of course had that crazy moment yesterday where he was smashing up the umpire's chair after a call, in his opinion, was out and was wrong and incorrect, and the umpire didn't want to come down from his chair. He'll put that behind him. He got defaulted, but he'll be playing Musetti in the first round. A very, very tough match. Musetti could lose that, by the way. I have to say Musetti is vulnerable early doors, but I'll go Musetti. Shevchenko, Oscar Otto, I'll go Shevchenko. And you've got 2 qualifiers there playing as well. Benoit Paire versus Cam Norrie. Norrie should come through that. And then Felix Auger-Aliassime has one of the hardest first rounds he could possibly ask for against Fabio Fognini, who, has not been in great form recently, but he's won a clay court masters in the past. He is very competent on the clay, and I do think he'll have some decent support. Felix Auger-Aliassime is playing Lyon this week. He's actually playing a quarter-final against Arthur Fields today. I think he hasn't been in good form though. He really hasn't. I'm actually going to go for the upset, the perceived upset, and go for Fognini. I hope Felix proves me wrong, and I hope he wins. I genuinely do, because I think he's got more of a chance of beating the top players and, of course, Fognini. But I just have no confidence really at the moment. Kubler and Cressy to go through. McDonald plays Korda. Korda should beat McDonald. He is on his way back from injury, though he's still not 100% fully fit. So we'll go Korda, though, just to edge it. Zapata Morales to beat Schwartzman. I just think Schwartzman's been in terrible form. And if this was Schwartzman from a few years back, then he's easily getting through that, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Zapata Morales should come through. John Isner and Nuno Borges. I'm going to go with. The question is, like, Nuno Borges is probably more comfortable on the clay, but Isner's serve is efficient and effective even on all surfaces. I'm going to go Isner. Colbert's been able to get through, and then Vesely and Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas should win that. Vesely's not an easy first round, but it's a doable win, in my opinion. Djokovic, Kovacevic. I mean, this is a really easy first round for me for Djokovic. Should come through that. Fuchsovic and Hugo Grenier. Wild card will go Fuchsovic. He also had a meltdown as well recently. Van Asch versus Kecinato. Arthur Fields and Davidovich Fokina. This could be a potential upset. I'll tell you that. It could be. This has almost got 5 sets written all over it, in my opinion. I'm going to go Davidovich Fokina. No. You know what? I'm going to go Arthur Fields. I'm going for it. RBA and Wu Yibing. RBA. Varilis to go through it, and same with Greixspor. They play qualifiers. Goffin and Hurkacz. Hurkacz is just, he's not been convincing on the red stuff. David Goffin is okay on clay, but he's a level below Hurkacz, you would say. I don't think that's unfair to say, given the rankings. So, what I would say is, I'm going to go with Hurkacz. Hatch not to beat Lestian. Wawrinka, Ramos Vinolas. I'm going to go Wawrinka. That's not an easy one, by the way. I'm telling you now, Wawrinka, Ramos Vinolas is not an easy draw. It's a very, very tough draw for Wawrinka. It could be tougher, though, given he's unseeded. So I think he'll be happy with the fact that he's not playing a seed. We'll go with Wawrinka, Stan the man. Kokkinakis and Dan Evans. Dan Evans. I don't think Kokkinakis has the ability on clay to really trouble a lot of the players, in my opinion. Shelton Sonego, that's a fantastic first round. So pick him. That really is. Ben Shelton Sonego. It's a really good matchup. Shelton has the serve, but Sonego should have too much experience and know-how on the clay. That is my feeling. So I'm going to go with Sonego. Manarino and Humbert. Manarino, Humbert. Manarino on clay. It's very flat. Humbert's been in some decent form recently, which is good to see. Humbert. Then another French affair in Kazo, who's a wildcard versus Mute. Will go Mute. He's been in okay form. Jerem Rublev. Rublev should come through that. Holger Rune has got, it's not an easy, not a super easy first round, but Eubanks isn't great on the clay, so I'll go Holger Rune. Monfils, Baez. I'm going to go Baez. I know Monfils has a wild card. I know he's a fantastic ambassador for French tennis, but he's just not the player he was a few years back. and Baez has been playing some really good tennis. Pericard's come through that. So okay, Manovic as they play qualifiers. Cerundolo and Manal will go Cerundolo. He's been in good form. Montero, Bonzi will go Bonzi. Gasquet to beat Redenek. Fritz to beat Michael Moe. Tommy Paul to get through against the qualifier. Jarry versus Delian will go Jarry. Giron to get through against the qualifier as well. Struff Lehechka. That's a very, very tough. Lehechka will be disappointed with that. Struff, seeded number 21 after making the final of Madrid. I think I want Struff to do well. I think he's dangerous. I know Madrid is a bit different because of the conditions, but I'm going to go Struff. Van der Zandschulp to come through as well. And Lejovic to beat Zhang. Lejovic, of course, with some good wins this clay court season. Bublik to come through. Same with Rude. Sinner to beat Muller. And Altmaier to beat Husler. Rusevori to beat Barrera. Dimitrov to come through. Zverev to beat Harris. That should be okay for Zverev. Hugo Gaston versus Alex Molcan. We'll go Alex Molcan. Poprin to come through as well. TFO to beat Krajinovic. Chorich Korea. It's not an easy one. We'll go Chorich. Dominic Team Kachin. Team should win. Drape. This is not an easy one. This is not an easy one whatsoever. Draper. Echeverry. Echeverry looked quite good against Djokovic when he played him recently. And I have to say, he's not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. Draper, also similar age, very exciting talent. I'm going to go Draper. Might be a little bit biased involved, given that I'm British as well, but I'd like him to do well. Ivashka, Dimanoga, Dimana. Nishioka, JJ Wolf. I actually think JJ Wolf can win. We'll go JJ Wolf. Purcell and Thompson will go Thompson. Hallis to beat Peya. Medvedev to beat his qualifier. Right, next one. So, Alcaraz, Taro Daniel. So, Alcaraz, Taro Daniel. Alcaraz should beat Taro Daniel, in my opinion. And then I think Shapovalov to beat Arnaldi. Yeah, fine. Musetti to beat Shevchenko. Nori has a qualifier, should come through that. Fognini to beat Kubler. Korda, Cressy. Korda should win against Cressy. Zapata Morales to beat Isner. Tsitsipas to beat Carves Bayana. Djokovic to beat Fuchsovic. Kecinato Fields will go Fields to beat Kecinato. RBA to beat Varillas. Greixpor Hakac will go. Hakac. Hachinov to beat qualifier. Wawrinka to beat Dan Evans. I'll go for it. Sonego. We'll go Sonego. Rublev to beat Matei. Holger Rune to beat Baez. That's a difficult one though. Katmanovic to beat qualifier. Cerundolo to beat Bonzi. Yeah. Gasquet Fritz, that could be an upset. We'll go Fritz. Paul to beat Jarry. Struff to beat Giron. I'm going to go Lejovic to beat Van der Zandschulp, which would be a perceived upset. Rude should beat Bublik. Sinner should beat Altmaier. Rusevori Dimitrov, that could be an upset. I'm going to go Rusevori to beat Dimitrov. Zverev, Molcan. Zverev, but that could be a tough one as well. Popperin, TFO, I'm going to go. Popperin's been in some decent form. TFO should be able to maneuver his way to victory, though. Chorich Team, this is a tough one. I can't see Dominic Team winning this. I don't know. It depends. It really does depend on how he plays. It's a great match if we get it. I'm going to go Chorich, though. Dimona, Draper, that would be a great matchup on the clay. I mean, neither player particularly likes the clay courts. Don't know in honesty. We'll go Draper. But the 50-50 real toss of the coin. JJ Wolf, Jordan Thompson will go JJ Wolf. Medvedev to beat Hallis. Alcaraz beat Shapovalov easily. Musetti Nori, that's a great match. Nori could definitely win that, and I think Musetti, even though he's seated lower, he's probably got the higher potential out of the two in this tournament. We'll go Musetti, but just Fognini and Korda. Fognini, I can't see Korda going too far in this tournament. I still don't think he's 100%. Hmm. Zapata Morales and Tsitsipas. Um, hmm. Tsitsipas to beat Zapata Morales. Djokovic, Arthur Fields. Djokovic, RBA Hakac. Hakac should win this, but on the clay, I'm going to go RBA. Khachanov to beat Wawrinka. Yeah. Sonego, Rublev. Holger Rune to beat Kekmanovic. Cerundolo to beat Fritz for me. I think Cerundolo's been much better on the clay. I know Fritz had a good run in Monte Carlo, but since then hasn't really done much. Tommy Paul and Struff. That's a really good match. 7 volley of Struff, big serving, trying to hit big ground strokes, but Tommy Paul hasn't been in great form. I'll go Struff. Lejovic, Casper Ruud. Casper Ruud. Sinner, Rusevori will go with Yannick Sinner. That could be a tough one, though. That could be a tough one for Sinner. Zverev, TFO as well. I mean, that's a flip of the coin at the moment. Zverev's not been in great form. We'll go. Do we go with Zverev? If he makes it this far, sure, I guess. Maybe he's picked up some confidence. Chorich, Draper, Chorich, Medvedev to beat JJ Wolf. Right, round of 16. Now, look at this. This is the tastiest round of 16 matchup you will see in a long while in a Grand Slam. Alcaraz, Musetti. Musetti beat Alcaraz on clay in a best-of-3 match last year. Could he beat him at Roland Garros, where he was 2 sets to love up against Djokovic 2 years ago, and then fumbled, you'd have to say, after those first 2 sets? I don't think he gets it done again. Or does he? He could. He really could. I think both players would be nervous. I think we'd see some great tennis. I'm going to go Alcaraz, though. Fognini, Tsitsipas. Djokovic beat RBA. Khachanov, Rublev. This is a 50-50. Khachanov, Rublev. This has been pretty closely contested match. They're good friends. They played doubles as well together. Rublev has been in pretty good form. Khachanov has also been in some solid form. I'm going to go Rublev, but Khachanovr's made back-to-back semi-finals in Grand Slams. He's a wild card. He is. For now, I'll leave him. I'll go Rublev. Rune, Cerundolo. This again, potential upset. I'm telling you, upset alert for this one. But we'll go Holger Rune. Struff, Ruud. Ruud should come through that. Sinner, Zverev. Sinner should beat Zverev on clay. In the current form of both players, Sinner should win. Chorich, Medvedev. This could be a potential upset. It could. Now, Medvedev has been in great form, though, and I just think the Rome victory is going to give him confidence. If he'd won another tournament, I'd say maybe not, but I'm going to go Medvedev. I'm going to go Medvedev. Alcaraz is past quarterfinal. I mean, these are the projected quarterfinals. In fact, I've gone for all the. Oh, that's so boring. What's wrong with me? Oh no, I've got trapped into almost wanting and willing the matches I want to happen. Okay. Alcaraz Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas could beat him. He could in a best of 5. I just don't see why he couldn't. We haven't really seen Alcaraz against like elite players on surfaces in a best of 5. We haven't really in later down in competitions. And the US Open victory was great for Alcaraz, but you have to remember he played Sinner, who's his age, in the semi-final. He played in the quarterfinal, played TFO in the semi-final, played Rude in the final. Now, if it was a case of playing, say, Tsitsipas on clay, or he played Djokovic on a hard court, or he played even Rude on a clay court, then I'm kind of thinking, okay, great, like this is a really impressive victory, and it still was impressive, but he hasn't played a lot of matches against the top guys on their favored surfaces. He hasn't. But I'll go Alcaraz, and I'll go Djokovic beat Rublev. I just think Rublev's game is tailor made for Djokovic. Holger Rune, Rude. I'm gonna go Holger Rune. I think he'll win again, like he did in Rome. Start to and continue to try and reverse that head to head. Sinner Medvedev. Could Sinner do it? Medvedev will probably pace himself better. Sinner, if he stays fit, could he beat him? He could. He could. I'm going to go for the upset. I'm going to go Yannick Sinner. I think Medvedev is a real competitor, and I could see him making a semi-final, even maybe a final, given that Djokovic and Alcaraz aren't in his half. But my gut tells me that Sinner might be able to make a big step here. And that gives me semi-finals of Alcaraz and Djokovic and Rune and Sinner. I mean, these are great matches if we get these. The likelihood is we're not, and a lot of the matches that I said in previous rounds where I said they're 50-50s or upset alerts, and I've erred on the side of no, these guys who are the higher seeds or being in good form, they're going to get it done. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the case, but these are my predictions, and I've gone, I guess, a little bit safe, you could say, in this instance. Alcaraz Djokovic, I mean, I don't know. I don't. I think Djokovic is the favourite going into that. I really do. If we see this matchup, I think Djokovic is the favourite. Could Alcaraz beat him? Potentially. If he beats him, I think this is then a massive moment in his career. Put the US Open win to one side. This is like a defining moment if he beats Djokovic in a best of 5, in my opinion. It's massive. It's massive. I know it's on clay, which is Djokovic's weakest surface, but for Djokovic, I mean, comparatively speaking, he doesn't really have a weak surface. He's great on all surfaces. He really is. And he's won Roland Garros twice. I'm going to go for the upset. I'm going to go for Carlos Alcaraz to win. Now, in the semi-final, Holger Rune and Yannick Sinner. The thing is, right, the thing with picking these guys as well, and I guess with no Nadal there, it just ends up happening. But I'm picking these younger guys, and that's on the assumption that they're going to stay fully fit. They're not going to go into really long 5-hour battles in the first week against players, and then also the fact that for Rune and as for example, he's not going to cramp as well. That's my assumption when I'm doing these previews or these match previews anyway and predictions. We'll go with Holger Rune to beat Sinner. I just think Holger Rune might have a bit too much form currently. That gives us a final of Alcaraz versus Holger Rune. I mean, I don't know how likely that's going to be, but that's where I've ended up, so I'm going to have to stick with it. Now, do I go for the predictable, which is Alcaraz win? Or do I go for Holger Rune, who actually has a positive head-to-head against Alcaraz? I think I could be crazy doing this. I genuinely could. I think if Holger Rune gets to the final, it means he's not cramping, etc. So if he's at this stage, I actually think he might win. because, well, there's two reasons. One is I think he's got the confidence and self-belief right now, and he's also beaten Alcaraz in the past, so Alcaraz doesn't have that real fear factor for Rune. And two, I think mentality-wise, he has this fighting champion mindset. The only concern I have is the fact that he said he piled pressure on himself for that Rome final. And the other, I guess, red flag is that he made the final of Monte Carlo and Rome and lost both. So if he was to make a final of Roland Garros, and given that he has clearly stated that, I mean, he's clearly stated that he's been trying to prepare for Roland Garros where he thinks he's got the best chance of winning it. And he's also said he wants to win a slam this year. And we all know that Roland Garros is probably his best opportunity currently. Has he put too much pressure on himself? Maybe. I'm going to go with no, and I'm going to go with Holger Rune. Let me know your guys' thoughts as well. Who you think who you picked as well in your bracket, and also who you think is going to win. I think if you had picked someone like a Djokovic or an Alcaraz, then you're going to be the majority, right? Because Djokovic, arguably, up until Alcaraz, he has the easiest draw. That's just the way the draw. That's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. And then his draw up into the semi-finals is the easiest, but then of course he's got Alcaraz in his half. So if they play each other, they're the two favorites in a semi-final. So that's obviously not ideal for him. And I do think maybe Alcaraz is his time to do it potentially. Djokovic would be the favorite. But I'm going to go with my gut, which tells me maybe he can do something special. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you very much, guys. Stay safe and well, and we'll see you on the next video. I'm really looking forward to this tournament. Make sure you tune in to our live stream watch-alongs, our preview videos for analysis on matchups as well, and also our post-match analysis on top of our daily roundups, which we'll be doing each and every day. Thank you very much, guys. See you later.